It's your destiny to greatness with Dr. C and Brothers Keeper. Today, where we've been, where we're going, and Friday trivia. And now, here are Dr. C and Brothers Keeper.
Hello and welcome to your destiny to greatness. Dr. C here with my good friend and partner,
Brothers Keeper. How are you today?
Well, how are you?
I'm excited.
I am too. I really am. And this topic that we're talking about today, laugh to keep from crying, I believe it affects or has touched many, if not all people.
Yes, I'm pretty sure our viewers can relate to that topic because if we're living, at some point in our life, we done went through some situations where we'd have to put on a brave face
That is
to
true.
keep from showing someone what's really going on in the inside.
That is true. And the thing of it is, I agree with you. If we live long enough, we will meet up with some situations that sometimes takes us through a loop. And it's very difficult to deal with those situations. But I was reminded of this saying, laugh to keep from crying. It's a saying that we take on sometimes. We've even watched certain things that had that title. But there are instances when we laugh to keep from crying anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've cried.
Yeah.
We've cried, but then it's like, you know what? I can't right now. So.
All cried out. Yes.
For that moment anyway.
As you said, if they haven't experienced it yet, just keep on living.
It's coming.
Because it's coming. Because everything in life is a test.
That's true.
And all our tests aren't always pleasant.
Right. And I'm reminded of Ecclesiastes 3 and 4. A time to weep and a time to laugh. And it goes on. But that fits what we're talking about. There's a time for it all. And sometimes in our sad situations or difficult situations, people look at us funny when we decide to turn that into a positive. When we're tired of being down, tired of crying, and we begin to laugh. Might even be about an aspect of that situation just to help us get through.
Yes. And I'm a firm believer that as long as we're connected to God, sometimes, as you said before, it'll throw us for a loop. But in a loop, it still comes back.
We come back.
It'll come back. We'll come to ourselves, as the prodigal son did, and then we'll understand that though we're going through some situations, we still have power over the situation.
Right.
Because once we start thinking better, then we'll start reacting better, and then we'll start doing better. And our loop will be coming back around, and then we're back to who we were before the situation threw us.
Well, I can agree with that. And you who are watching today, you may be in a situation right now that is very hard to smile or feel good about yourself during this time. And we're hoping that today we can share some things with you to help you to be able to get to your laugh or to your smile a little bit quicker. So we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to get right back to laugh to keep from crying.
Okay, we're back. And we're talking about laughing to keep from crying.
Yes.
It's something we can think about. Many times it may not be our situation. We may just be an observer of someone else's situation. Because I'm sure we've ran across situations where we so heartfelt about someone else that we felt like crying for them. And at the same time, we understand we have to be strong in order to radiate that strength to them, even when they're not to be able to be strong for themselves. So we might initiate a little laughter in their situation to keep all of us from crying.
Well, it's something I was that you're saying that, because I was thinking of a couple of things which tie into that. And often, if there's death involved in someone's life, if they're experiencing that, then anyone who has a heart, that you feel, you sympathize with that particular person, and you want to do anything that you can to be able to help them make it through.
Yes.
And I was thinking about several years ago now, when someone who was very close to me, my young cousin, he was 19 when he was tragically murdered. And it was very sad for all of us, and especially his parents. But we were at the funeral, and my mom was supposed to read the scripture, or she was supposed to do something. She was on the program. And Mom's name is Hetty. Well, the lady got up there who was calling her, and she said, "Hody Hodges." And we just went up in smokes. I mean, we laughed, and it really helped the moment.
Yes.
The situation that we were there for was not funny. We were literally crying. But when that woman called Mom's name, when she called out Hody Hodges, everyone started laughing, even my cousin's parents.
It's funny you should mention that. It reminded me of a recent situation that was death in the family. And you know, we call and check on people, and many times they start right in with the glum, somber, how you feeling, and I don't normally do that.
Right.
I talk to the person
Okay.
where they are, understanding what they're going through.
True.
Stay in the lane where you're trying to uplift them at the moment.
Yes.
And the gentleman said, "Thank you." I said, "What is it?" He said, "If one more person call me and ask me how am I doing, how do they think I'm doing?"
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, wow.
That's true.
I'm so glad that I wasn't one of those people that asked, I already know how they're doing."
And it's not that, I don't believe that people do that, I want to say on purpose, but I don't think they're doing it to hurt or to harm. But in certain situations like that, sometimes you just really don't know what to say. You want to say something, but sometimes you may not know. And that comes with a little bit of season.
Yes.
And you've been sending some things to me and others about, that salt. So sometimes you have to be seasoned a little bit. And you learn that it's not always a lot that you have to say.
It's what you say.
It's what you say. It is. It's what you say. And you can still have a pleasant look about you when you go to that person and have something that is uplifting and encouraging.
And you know, something else I got from that is when we're doing things which are prudent and pleasing to God, at any moment He will show us, yes, that's what you need to be doing.
That is true.
Even if we're not thinking about it, when He said that to me, even though He was talking, I'm like, okay, yes. He's exactly right. That is the avenue that we should be taking.
Right. And that helps you to be able or to keep you mindful in other situations that will come about that's similar too.
And as you say, that was my seasoning. Get me to understand that, you take this and you build upon it. But at the same time, don't go overboard either.
Right.
Because every situation is a little different. So at least we got... Go ahead.
Well, we go back to what you said in reference to allowing God to lead us.
Yes.
Because when we allow Him to lead us, we will not speak before it's time, and we'll shut up when it's time.
Don't make me laugh to keep me from crying.
That's right. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Until I cry.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But
Yes.
laughing to keep from crying. And Brother's Keeper.
Yes.
You spoke of an incident when there was a young lady, I believe, that was crying or she was down, but it was something that you showed her that helped her and even got her on the brink of laughing, or at least where she could feel a little bit better during that situation.
You're exactly right. And you're exactly right, because at that particular time, being as you mentioned it, I was thinking, Lord, what can I do? I don't want to open my mouth. What should I do? And He, okay, try this. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You're like, oh, really? Yeah, okay. And I I didn't understand what was going on, but at that moment, he knew what she needed. But I was obedient at that moment, and I did what was supposed to be done, and it made all the difference for her at that moment. Thank you for remembering that.
You're welcome. And I believe just as the two of us could just go on and on about different stories and situations, there's situations that our viewers have and that they're in. You may not be comfortable with talking to someone who's down, but you can do it because silence is the worst thing. We want to hear from people. We want to see that not everyone is as down as we are at that moment, so that we can call back and remember the good times to help us be raised up in our situations.
Yes, it's funny you mentioned about silence, and it brings it back to when Job was going through. And they said that was his friends.
Yeah.
And they were silent, and in their silence, it was radiating that they thought that he had done something, and they didn't know what to say to him. I get the impression that this kind of seemed like they had a negative, judgmental thought going on. You know what I mean?
You know, he had sinned. Anytime you see somebody that's going through something that they did, but not necessarily so.
No.
Not necessarily so.
Maybe they weren't seasoned yet.
Well, yeah, so we're talking about laughing to keep from crying, but we're also talking about getting seasoned in the Lord as well, which helps us. And before we go to this next break, I was thinking that there are times when you have to cry, you need to cry, and that is okay. But try not to stay there. Think of something. If it is a loss of someone, whether they've just gone away or they're no longer here right now and we're waiting until we reach heaven to see them again, if that is the situation, then think of some of the good things, some of the good times that you've had, and they will help you. Yes, you'll shed a few more tears, but I tell you what, if you learn to just reach out to the good times and the blessed times, it will help you smile. And then each day, just take it one day at a time, we'll get better.
Yes.
We'll get better. So, laugh to keep from crying as long anyway. We'll be right back.
We're back. And of course, you know it's time for us to lead into our Friday trivia question.
Yes, Friday trivia.
So since we're talking about laughing and crying, I want you to think about a thing for a second.
All right.
Back in the era of Moses, he had to deliver the people from Egypt. And in the course of delivering them from Egypt, he ran into the Red Sea. So I'm pretty sure they was looking at the sea in front of them and seeing the soldiers coming behind them. I can just imagine there were a few of them there crying.
I know I would have been.
But at some point, the Red Sea had to be parted. My question today is, why did he have to part the Red Sea? Why did Moses have to part the Red Sea?
Why did he have to part the Red Sea? Okay, very good with the question. I may ask you again because, to repeat it, Brother's Keeper, I was thinking, you're talking about Moses had this Red Sea in front of him, and then you said some soldiers coming behind him, so that doesn't sound too good of a situation. But I know I can relate to a situation, and obviously I wasn't in Moses' time where my Red Sea was in front of me, and by golly, there were some soldiers behind me. But the Lord made a way. I just had to trust him. I had what I needed to be able to part that Red Sea.
Yes.
But I'm looking back at what's going on and what's coming at me, and I'm frustrated and I'm scared and I'm crying, and all that's clouding my mind to my deliverer. But when I focused on my deliverer, my goodness, that Red Sea, it parted.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure when you got on the other side of the Red Sea,
What you
then
think?
your laughter came.
Yes.
Huh?
Because yes.
It was flipped. You cried, but we said you have to cry sometimes.
Yes.
But that laughter will come.
Yes. Exactly.
And then with that laughter, there will be a brighter day.
That is
A
true.
little sunshine will
That
come in
is
our
true.
life.
So you said, let's get back to your question. So
Why did Moses have to part the Red Sea?
All right. Why did he have to part the Red Sea? Send your answers in tonight by 11:59
PM.
exactly. And you know you can email your answers to your.destiny-to-greatness@gmail.com. We're waiting for your responses. Health, wealth, and beauty. Health, wealth, and beauty.
Hi, this is our tip for today. I see it's becoming increasingly warm outside. Some cold days, but a lot more warm days. And spring is rushing in. As spring rushes in, how about we start to stretch our muscles as we get up before we start performing the least amount of tasks that we are. Some think that, oh, I'm okay. But in reality, we should be stretching our muscles before we start doing anything, even just driving our car. How many times have we been somewhere and move all of a sudden and we feel a little twinge or a little tweak? That's our muscles telling us that we really should stop and stretch them and stretch our tendons and get them warmed up before we start to do anything that we want to do that day. So if it's okay with you, I'd ask you to maybe start out slow, maybe bending and stretching, and there's always things that we can do that are appropriate for our age and our health wise. I didn't say just jump out and do things that you aren't supposed to do and injure yourself. But if you could just do some things that will warm your muscles up before you start a slight stretch, a slight turn, a slight bend, and I'm pretty sure if you do it daily, you will notice that it'll start getting easier and easier, and you'll be able to do more and more and further and further. Just try it. This is your tip for today. It's just me thinking again. Are you aware that we have God's assurance and His insurance that all our situations that we're going through will be all right in the end? Many times we're going through situations, we have to be tested and tried to see how far we'll be able to go along the path of prudence. Just rest assured, we have full coverage. Though we'll have some days that are up, days that are down, we are fully covered. God knew the answer to our problems before the problems ever arrived. So just be faithful and keep your hope in God, and everything will be okay. We are fully covered, and it's just me thinking again.
We are destined for greatness.
Sometimes you feel like you can't do what you need to do when there are others blocking you. And they may not be literally standing in front of you, but there are people who, when you start something, they will say or do things to stop you right in your tracks. I'm telling you, I know this has happened to me even recently. But what I want to do is encourage you to keep your head up as you walk towards your destiny. God has a plan for you, but Satan has the plan to stop you. Don't stop. Keep it going, no matter what. Sing your song, pray your prayer, do whatever it is that you have to do as you walk towards your destiny.
We are destined for greatness.